Yeah. So now here we have just installed Docker here, and we have Docker version is 25.0.5 we got. So once we install the Docker, we have like a so Docker info shows how many images we have, how many containers are running, how many are pass state, stopped state, server version, what is the storage driver. Say each and every information here just to try to go through what's Docker info is showing. And I'm going to run the first container sudo docker run hello world. Hello world is one of the image. So where uh, we can verify whether the Docker is running or not. We can use that hello world image, and the Docker client contacted the Docker daemon. Docker daemon pulled the hello world image from the Docker hub. Then Docker daemon created the new container. From that image we can run the executable that produced it. So now here in this use case, say we have Docker client or is nothing but Docker CLI we have used. Then Docker daemon or Docker engine is going to contact Docker hub or whatever the registry we have. From that it pull that image and it executed, and hello world is something kind of thing. Once it runs, it automatically closes. Then here for everything it is expecting sudo. Without having the sudo, if we want to run, then that current user we need to add into user mod. We need to give the permissions to the Docker group we need to add. So then for that sudo user mod hyphen ag docker, and the current user is ec2 hyphen user. Okay, in order to reflect this one, say here if I type still it is like a sorry, yeah, it is throwing the permission, right? Even we're adding, but in order to reflect that one, okay, so we need to exit that session and again need to log in. Now I don't give sudo, but still we are able to execute that. So in order to get that sudo permissions, we need to add that user to the Docker group. Okay, so user mod hyphen ag docker is the group name, and that current user is ec2 hyphen user. Okay, so then docker ps shows the running containers, but we already having that hello world, but that is exited. If you want to see that container, ps hyphen a ps hyphen a will show us that running container. I want to remove this. Okay, so this is the container ID. With that container ID, have removed that one. Using that container ID, have removed that. Even if I run docker ps hyphen a, it won't run. I'll run one nginx container sudo docker run hyphen hyphen name. So we can give a friendly name for the container. My container I have given, or we can give my nginx kind of thing. Then hyphen p publish port. Say 8080. This is the host port. Inside that it's port forwarding to 80 port. That means from the host side, we are going to access that container over 80, but it 8080, it's going to be port forwarded to 80, it is getting port forwarded. Then I'm going to give hyphen D is the detach mode. Then image is nginx. If I don't specify any tag, it is going to use the latest tag. You no need to specify colon latest, but even if you don't specify latest also, that latest version itself it is going to use.
It will
Then
directly click in the latest version then.
latest version. If you don't specify latest version, you specify. If you have any specific version is required, colon, the tag we need to give.
Okay.
So now we don't have locally that Nginx latest, then it's pulled from Nginx also. Okay, so now we can use Docker pull Tomcat. Okay, so that means in the run, you don't need to use the pull also, but what it is doing, by default, it is pulling the image also. But explicitly also, we can pull that image. Then Docker search. So these all the say when you search for Ubuntu in the AMIs, it lists all the Ubuntu related. Like this in the marketplace, we can search, right? This Docker search is searching all the Tomcat images. In which place it is searching all this? In which place it is searching all this?
Base means okay.
In the Docker Hub, it is searching all the images. In the Docker Hub, it is searching all the images.
Okay.
Okay. So then I have created that Docker Nginx image, right? So Docker PS. So here I can get 8080 I need to use, and it's going to redirect to 80. Okay, and B95, this is the container ID, image is Nginx, and in order to execute that container, definitely we'll have one command, and when it is created is like a minute ago, our status is up, port bindings, then container name is my Nginx. Then I'm going to access this container. So this is the public IP. Okay. So then colon 8080. Okay. But it won't open because we need to open the port number 8080 in my security group. In my instance security group, I need to open the port number 8080. I'm going to configure the inbound rules, edit inbound rule. So custom TCP. Then if I use 8080 also, it is in the inside the container, it is redirecting to, say it can't open over HTTPS, over HTTP, it is redirecting. That 8080 inside the container, it is going to access through 80 port itself. I'll create one more Nginx container, but I'll use another port number. Okay, then Docker run -name my Nginx 2 publish port. I'm giving 8081 this time. 80 itself, even for the second container also, inside that Nginx is 80 port itself. Then -d is for detach Nginx. Then second container also is created. Then I need to access this one using 8081. But even by default, it won't open because we didn't open 8081 in our host. Then I'll go to that security group again, inbound rule. Yeah. Saying here 8080 is already there. I'm going to open 80802, 8090. I have opened the ports. It's almost 10 ports I have opened. In the real time, not recommended. Unnecessary ports we shouldn't open. Okay, but here I want to use for the different images. So now here, say if you understand here, if we want two Nginx missions, normally in the VMs we need to go for two VMs. But in this use case, both also running. So you can deploy two different applications also on the two different servers also. Then I'll go for I'll Docker PS shows both the containers. I want to delete my Nginx too. Okay, so then Docker RM. Okay, my Nginx too, but it's not deleted. Why it is not deleted is it's a running container. If you want to delete that one, we need to use a hyphen F or hyphen force. Okay, if I use the hyphen F option, that container get deleted. Okay, so then if I use Docker PS, it shows only one container. Okay, so then that container name is my nginx. Okay, and if you type Docker, we'll get lot of commands here in the Docker. So just go through all these commands. So we use already run, we have used PS, we have used pull, we have used, okay, pushing is we created the image. When we want to push to Docker Hub, then we'll use the push. And Docker images. What are the images you have pulled locally? Those all we can see from the Docker images. So as of now, I use hello world. Okay, say Nginx, Tomcat. So like this, we can use those images. I don't want to have the hello world image. Okay, then I want to delete that image. Docker RMI hello world. So that RM is to delete the container. RMI is to delete the RMI is to delete the image. RMI is to delete the image. That image also has been deleted. Okay, so now if you see Docker images, we have only two images. Under Tomcat, having the latest tag, Nginx also is
Mhm.
downloaded the latest tag. Okay, so then I just to pull the Tomcat image, I didn't create a container yet. I didn't create a container yet. So then I'll create a container from the Tomcat also, then Docker run, I give Tomcat container is the name of this, hyphen P is the publish port, then 8080 is already in the use, then I'll give 8082. Previously I have 8082 also is, or 8081 also in the use, but I deleted that container, right? That port would be released. Then inside the Tomcat, it's not 80, it is going to be 8080. The Tomcat default port is 8080. Then hyphen D is detach mode. Then Tomcat is the image I want to use. So here, sorry, this hyphen Tomcat not correct. So hyphen name, that name we need to specify. And then that container is created. Now, previously we have 8081 is used by Nginx. Now that is used by the Tomcat. So this Tomcat is working, but normally why we are not getting the Tomcat pages? They didn't keep all those files. Web apps in the web apps, by default Tomcat server app they're going to keep, but to reduce the size, they have removed that. So now here 10.1.30 is the Tomcat version. Okay, so then I want to remove this also. Then Docker RM. It won't remove. Okay, either we need to stop that container or we need to forcefully remove. Then I'll stop that container. Then I'm going to remove that. I remove that container also. Okay, so then I'll use the same Tomcat itself, but instead of using Tomcat 10, I got some compatibility issues. My application is a legacy application. Client said to go for 9, or maybe developer said to go for 9. Okay, then what it is doing is we have image Tomcat 10 is there. That is the reason it is unable to find the Tomcat 9 locally. Then it is pulling from the library. It is pulling from the
So it will take automatically latest one, right, Sridhar?
no. If you don't give tag, it will take latest.
In Tomcat also.
In Tomcat, I given colon 9, right?
Okay, okay.
Okay, that is the reason it will download the ninth version.
Okay.
Okay, so now,
Otherwise, it will take the latest
otherwise,
one.
if you don't give Tomcat that 9, it takes latest.
Okay.
Okay, so then here I'll go and check that. So now previously we have 10.1, we got it right. Now with the 9.x version, we'll get. So see, so both are running on the same mission. It's easy to change in manually in the virtual machine, removing the 10 and again installing 9 will take lot of time. Okay, so now here this is very easy to deploy the different versions of the applications. Even at the same mission, multiple versions of the missions also can be running. Okay, so then, so what is the difference between RM and RMI? RM is to
RM is remove the
remove the
container.
containers. RMI is for
RM is remove the image also.
remove the no, it
Image.
remove the image. Okay, so then say here start, stop, pass, unpass, kill. Based on the container ID, we can perform all those life cycle operations also, or finally we can remove also. Okay, so once we done all these operations, now I want to enter inside my container. In order to enter inside the container, exec hyphen it, and what is our container name? My Nginx I'll take, and that container should be in the running state. Then I'm going to enter into bin bash mode. So now here I got enter into root at the rate bf. This is inside the container I am there. So this bf95, this is the container ID. Okay, then if I type ls, all these all in the container, in the container we are running those commands. Okay, I'm in the root folder. If I do exit, I came back again to my EC2 instance. If I go to Docker exec-it and container ID bin bash, I enter inside the container. Enter inside the container. Okay, so without entering inside also, if you want to run any commands, instead of bin bash, that commands you can give. The top executable is not there. That means all binaries, that is very lightweight OS. In the normal Linux, top is maybe one binary. They may not given that command. Okay. So then you can install that related utilities. If you install, that commands also will run. Okay. So that's exec is not only enter inside the container, even if you want to execute any commands from outside also, we can use exec, but we are intelligently using bin bash mode, then entering inside the bash of the container. Okay, so then Docker CP is used to copy the files inside that container. Okay, so first I'll check the path. What is the path I need to get? So this is inside the container user. So now here we have the HTML path is in user share nginx HTML. I'll copy any index.html something into that HTML kind of thing. So I'll create this code. Yes, that is the basic HTML script. So what I have is in my local machine, I have index.html in my home EC2 user. Now I want to copy this one into inside the container. Then Docker cp index.html. Okay, so then I want to copy that into container. My container name is my nginx. Instead of that, you can give even that container ID. The path is normally where www.html, but in the newer versions, we are getting into user share nginx. User share nginx to HTML. I'm going to copy the content. Okay, that has been copied into HTML. Now that server is not copied properly. Yeah. So that is a sample page that index.html has been copied to this. Okay. So now what we done is we copied the files from local mission to container. Okay. So for that, what is the command we have used is docker cp is the command we have used. Okay. So now here in this, in varlog nginx, I have some log files like a access.log or error.log would be there. Those files I want to copy to my local machine. Okay, then docker cp my nginx. What is the path is var. So this is the source path. Destination I want to copy to my local directory. That is the reason I'm giving dot here. So there is a typo with the my nginx. So now if you see that log files would be copied to this. So access dot log and error dot log. What we did done is locally whatever that like in my Linux host system, what are the files we have? I copied those into I copied those into container, or my source itself is my container. From there also I have copied the files into locally. Okay, so both we can do, and docker cp is the command for that. Docker cp is the, and we have one more command is there, docker prune. So docker prune uh, or network prune, using that unused resources we can remove. So in the Docker network prune, remove all unused networks. If you have volumes, those all. And in the Docker network, you can create a network volume related or network related also. So in the Docker volume also, you can use create, inspect, ls. Okay, so then I'll check what are the volumes we have. Okay, by default, we don't have any volumes. Then what are the networks we have? So by default, we have the bridge network ATM, host, null. In the SWAM environment, we will get the overlay also. We can create our own networks also. We can create our own networks also. We are going to create. Okay, so it depends upon the requirement. We can create our own volumes, and we will create our own networks also. We are going to create. Okay, so then here we'll go for one Docker file. Okay, so name of the Docker file should be Docker file itself. We need to keep. Okay, we need to give the instructions for all this, and we need to build that. Okay, so as of now, I'll take a sample Docker file. Okay, so now here we need to take the sample Docker file. The name of the Docker file, we don't have any actions like YAML or anything, only Docker file itself. Okay, so then they have exposed 8080. Okay, so we should able to write down the Docker files. So now here we have one from image. That this is the tag. Instead of 9 something, they have used the tag working directory, and even optionally you can add a maintainer also. You can give your email ID. Something say suppose your email ID. You need to specify your personal official email ID. You need to specify. Okay, so then if they have any doubts regarding that Docker file, people can contact you, maybe developers or other teams also. If you have any problem, if you have the email ID on the Docker file, they can contact us. It's a pure optional kind of thing. Then we are setting up working directory, and all the dependencies, all this you are copying here. Then you are installing this, exposing the port. This is the one way, and they have given one more Docker file also. So we need to copy your application code also. Here they copied this application code also. So we need to copy that. So label is label also in the maintainer. You can give in the label also, but it's a pure optional kind of thing. Then copy your var file. So now here I'll copy that, maybe one var file I'll copy to user local Tomcat web apps, exposing that port, and definitely to start that Docker file, we need one command. This is the command, our container, and those hashes are just for the comment purpose. Then here I'm going to create a Docker file from Tomcat 9. Okay, so definitely here this we don't have locally Jenkins.var file, right? At this step we'll get the issue. We'll solve that one. When we have the Docker file, okay, so that D should be capital. Okay, so this is the Docker file syntax we have. We need to build an image. Docker build -t my Tomcat 1.2. So I'm giving that like a image name I'm giving dot. Dot is the local directory where we have the Docker file. Now it is building that by pulling that Tomcat 9 image. But definitely we'll get that problem because locally we don't have Jenkins.var file. I'll try to download locally that Jenkins.var file. Change my var files, I'll download. That means that var file path source not found. That is the reason it failed. Yeah, this is the path. Let's copy the checksum, I think. Yeah. So now we are copying that Jenkins.var also. Now locally we have this Jenkins.var. When that image is building, it is going to copy inside the image. Then again I'll run that Docker build -t my Tomcat. I'm this time I want to give 1.3. So now that image has been built. Then in the images, I can see that. So Tomcat 1.3 is there. 12 seconds ago, it's built. From where we have built is from the Docker file. We have built that. From the Docker file, we have built that image. Then from that image, I'm going to create a container. Cd Docker run. Name I have given -d. Say 8084 I'm giving. Inside that is 8080. So that inside port we are going to specify here in the expose, because outside host port we know because we are the admin of that, which is available port we need to give. But inside, what is the port we need to give? They will specify inside the Docker file. Okay, say 8080. Then what is the name of the image? My Tomcat colon 1.3. Now from that, that container is getting created. So from that my new Tomcat, that container is running. From there it is running. So like this, we need to create our own containers also. We need to create. Okay. So just go through all the Docker basic operations. Okay, all those commands. Then volume related, network related also just go through, because even in the Kubernetes we don't use Docker volumes and network, but to understand Kubernetes volumes and networks, we need the concepts here. Then Docker files. Send, go through the Docker file for Tomcat, or if any other Java or Java Spring Boot application. Okay, so mostly in Spring Boot application we are not using Tomcat also directly. Also we are deploying. Okay, so then Python based application, Node.js based application, Go language, .NET base. Okay, so for all these also we required, and front end maybe we have React JS or Angular JS. Okay, so for that also we need to build the Docker files. So the Docker file we need to build, and we need to deploy. But in the like new method, in order to reduce the size of the Docker file, we are going to use multi-stage Docker files also. So for the same Java Spring Boot, .NET, React JS, we'll discuss even the multi-stage Docker files also. Okay, so then I want to clean up all these as a single shot. I want to delete all the containers. Then Docker rm -f in the dollar. I'm going to pass the sub another command, Docker ps -aq. AQ will list us like only the IDs it is going to give. Now just see Docker ps -aq. Okay, ps-aq will list only the the quite only, but already those containers are deleted. Okay, so only IDs only it displays. Okay, so if you see images, it shows all the images, right? But if I use images -q, it only these IDs it is displaying. Okay, I want to delete all the images also. Then Docker rm my -f I can use optionally, because no usage of those containers. Then dollar Docker images -q. Then all the images also have been deleted single shot. All the images have been deleted in the single shot. Okay, so come with the Docker files for all those applications. Okay, and practice all these commands. Okay, practice all this. Okay,
Srikant, could you share this video, Srikant?
sure, sure.
This will help you and me.
Yeah, yeah, I'll share.
Thank you, Srikant.
Sure.